Relations are when we have quantities that are connected to each other. So when we have a connection between two things, we have a relationship. And knowing how things are related is very useful for us to know how things behave and be able to predict how things work. Okay, so we can predict, we can generalize, we can extrapolate, and we can explain how things are working around us. So mathematically, when we look at relations, what relations do is they relate or associate elements of one set into another set. So this terminology that we need to understand is what is a set. Okay, a set is just a collection of distinct objects. So a set could be, for example, the integers can represent a set, okay, or the real number system can represent a set. Okay, so they can be numbers. They could also be objects. So we can say, the set includes the people in this classroom. Okay, so that could also be a set. We typically will look at sets as numbers when we get into doing graphing and things like that. But just in general, a set could be any distinct group. And there's some notation that goes with this. And the notation and the terminology is element, and the notation that goes with that is this funny looking E here. Okay, and it just means that it is an object in the set. Okay, so when we say that George is an element of pre-calc foundations in pre-calc 10, we have George. Here's our set, students in pre-calc 10. Okay, and we can say that George is an element of that set. And we would write, there's some notation that we can use to do that. So something called set notation. Set notation uses these curly brackets, and the way it works is it identifies the variable and it tells us what elements are in that set. Okay? We'll get into this a little later, but just want you to familiarize with this notation. This notation is specifically just to indicate different sets. So, to understand relationships, that's the main idea here. We want to know, what is a relationship? Okay, a relationship relates a set of one thing. So in this case, we have a set of ages, and it's going to relate it to a different set, the set of the distances our eyes can focus. Okay, so these are the two sets, and there is this relationship between the two sets. Okay, so when we have our set of ages, so 5 years old, 15 years old, 25, 30, 50, there's a relationship to the set of how far we can focus our eyes, or the nearest distance our eyes can focus. So when we are really young, at 5 years old, we can focus at about 40 millimeters away from our eyes, which is really close. At 15, it kind of goes a little bit further, but at 15, your lenses are very soft still, and we can focus on objects that are about 60 millimeters from your eyes. At 25, your eyesight's still pretty good, and you're able to focus on things that are 100 millimeters from your eye. So that's still really close to your face. So you can read a book like super close to your face. At 30, things start to change. At 30, if you hold something too close to your eyes will not be able to focus, because what's happening is your lenses are starting to harden. And at 50, wow, you cannot see anything too close. You have to hold everything far away. So your parents might be, at that age where they have to hold things far away from their face to be able to see it. Otherwise, if you hold something too close to them, they can't see it. So this is the relationship. As we get older, our eyes cannot focus as close to our faces. Okay, and this is our relationship, and we can show that with a set of ages and a set of distances.